Hello, Strunky here. I want to do a new type of video and see if I can get something nice out of this. I want to take interesting battle replays that I think add some crucial tactics or decisions in the battle that I think I can highlight in a good way to kind of like showcase to other players in a way that they can learn from it. So I wouldn't say a tutorial, but like just like examples of certain things. In this battle right now, I want to kind of show the importance between defending a base and capping a base, where I'm left with a choice: do I go back to defend or do I go attack and cap the enemy base? Now, I also want to highlight the fact that defending your base in a defensive position is very different than camping. See, if I were to right now move to the B1 position over here, yeah, I would be camping because I wouldn't be having any targets. I'd be very useless for the team. But playing a defensive position is at all times beneficial, right? When you're defending in a bush with some cover and using the bush correctly, you're always gonna have the advantage over your opponent who's trying to attack. So I want to highlight that today. So right now I'm in my Panzer T25, a tier 5 medium, which has a nice chunky bit of health. So I chose to go this flank because, well, this is kind of a corridor at the south, and we're in a tier 6 matchup, so I don't want to play too aggressive. Don't want to join the corridor. If anything, I could have maybe gone for the dip, but it seems like on this side, my whole team is deciding to play a bit snipey, or at least the teammates who are over here. My teammates down south, you know, they're going into the attack, but I don't think I'll be any good with my medium tank trying to support the heavy flank here. And I could have perhaps gone here, helped these two, but as you can see, you know, there's only two of them, not very strong enemies, and they're already getting pushed. So I started sniping a little bit, you know, just where most of my teammates are, because generally speaking, you want to go where most of your teammates are, at least if your vehicle is viable to go there. So after sniping a little bit, I noticed that I just got hit by the Nashorn. So, you know, usually what you want to do is, when you get hit, is reconsider your current position, which I have done. I instantly decided, okay, let's go somewhere else. It's not always the case, sometimes you just, you know, you can only stay there. But I decided to reconsider my position and move in here. Because as it stands, we've got a Britannia Panther, a top tier medium chunky, with you know, some support, so I decided to go here, see if I can be some use. And I spot this Cavalier, who I'm just trading shells with at the moment. They're a same tier tank, but I tried poking back and forth, using my health a bit, because the highlight of this tank is the hit points. And I managed to outtrade them. Not sure what the Britannia Panther was doing next to me. They weren't really shooting the Cavalier, but maybe they were aiming somewhere else. I don't know. I was not paying attention to them. So right now, I spot this Panzer SFL-1C, tier 4 vehicle, and they're instantly getting shot as well, which is very useful for my team. And yeah, so far no enemy tanks here. But as you've noticed, the other flank has fallen really quickly at the moment. They're pushing through to the base. And as it stands, I'm kind of in a dilemma right now, because obviously, you know, I've done 1,000 damage already, so that's pretty good with 200 assists for tier 5. That's solid already. I already have a good game. And the Britannia Panther and the P-26 behind me are actually heading for the enemy base. You know, they're going in here to try and cap. Now, the dilemma is, right, you're always going to be in the advantage when you are defending. Which means, if the Britannia Panther is attacking here, these tanks over here in the enemy base, they're gonna set up probably defensive positions. I don't know, here, maybe here. They're gonna be in a bush, they're gonna have the first chance. So, what I'd rather do is right now go back to the base, because the enemy have a Hetzer, a KV-1S, and a Churchill, and a Matilda, and maybe even the Cheeto coming into our base. And it's gonna be useless for me if I'm gonna be attacking the enemy base, trying to struggle with, you know, getting rid of the campers, while the enemies are just gonna take my base, you know? It's, in my opinion, it is always better, if you can, to try and defend the base, because at least then you're preventing a loss, and if you're preventing a loss, you can still be in the game to make a difference, whereas your attempt at capping, that's pretty much, you know, all or nothing. You're either gonna win by capping, or you're gonna fail, and then you're gonna be dead. I just think preventing a loss is always the better option. You know, unless you're really going to be outnumbered and you know for sure defending is not going to work. But as it stands, you know, I'm going to move back here, all the way back to base. And I'm going to use the bushes here. I'm going to make sure that I stay behind the bushes that are opaque, you know, non-transparent, so that I don't get spotted. And now we're just going to finish off these tanks. And it's really just going to show that me and this Jackson are going to defend the base against these tanks. We've now taken care of the KV-1S and the Hetzer. There's still multiple tanks on their way, so I'm just going to poke a little bit just to use my view range here. And we're going to see if anything gets spotted. As a matter of fact, on the other flank, thankfully, it is looking like we are also making progress towards the base still, and more enemies are getting killed. But right now, the Matilda is here. I move back, bush becomes opaque, and we're just gonna farm this Matilda. Easy peasy. We're in a solid defensive position. Now, some people might call this camping. This is not camping, right? We're in a solid defensive position because we know the enemies are here and they're gonna attack. That's what's good about a defensive position. Don't sit here the whole game. That's not good. Then you're camping. What you want to do is, if you know they're coming, then set up like basically a camping position. Like, camping is only useful if you know the enemies are pushing towards you. So don't sit there the whole time. Watch the battlefield and react accordingly, you know? If they're coming for the base, get to a good position near the base where you can camp in a way. And look what it brought us. We've got 1600 damage and 200 assist in a tier 5 game. With a tier 5 tank in a tier 6 game, actually. Getting a level IOS medal as well. And yeah, I just think it's a good example to showcase that you're just going to be able to influence. Because I'm not sure, the enemies could have probably broken through into our base if it wasn't for me bringing that extra sniping support into the Matilda especially. And here we just, on long range, because this is a tier 6, actually load some APCR. And we're just gonna go for the blind shots, see if we can get any extra damage in, and yes we can. Look at that. We're even getting a nice high caliber. And there we go. Very nice win. GG. And as you can see over here, we have a nice battle result. First class medal. Top of the team. Absolutely fine. That nice level IOS medal for killing 2 tanks that are a tier higher. Confederate, tank sniper, high caliber. Yeah, absolutely wonderful game. And hopefully this can provide as a good example to really always go for that defense, and preferably in like a good sniping spot. And remember, when you're defending in a good position, when there are enemies, at that moment you're not camping. You're only camping if you're actually sitting there the whole game doing nothing until, you know, after minutes and minutes some enemies appear, because at that point you've been useless the whole time until that moment. So don't do that. React accordingly and then defend. That's all I gotta say. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.